There's a thief in your house. He does not break your window. He does not pick your lock. He does not take the cash out of your wallet while you sleep. Instead, he makes the cash in your wallet worth less every single day. You feel it, don't you? You go to the grocery store and you spend $100 for 2 small bags of food. You look at house prices and they seem to be running away from you no matter how hard you work. You look at your savings account and you realize it isn't growing fast enough to keep up. Most people blame corporate greed, or they blame a specific politician, or they blame a war overseas. But they are missing the real monster. The monster is the debt. We are currently living through the greatest debt bubble in the history of the human race. The numbers have become so big that the human brain can no longer comprehend them. Trillions, quadrillions in derivatives. And the terrifying truth is, there's no way to pay it back. Welcome back to Crucible Markets. We have talked about gold. We have talked about Bitcoin. But today, we are going to talk about why. Why is the system breaking? Why is your money dying? Today, we look at the undeniable, brutal math of the debt crisis, and why it guarantees that the future will look nothing like the past. Let's look at the scoreboard. The United States national debt is currently moving at a speed that sounds like science fiction. The US government is adding $1 trillion of debt roughly every 100 days. Let me repeat that. $1 trillion every 100 days. To put that in perspective, if you spent $1 every single second, it would take you 31,000 years to spend $1 trillion. The government is borrowing that amount every 3 months. For decades, politicians told us, debt doesn't matter, we owe it to ourselves. That was a lie. Debt matters when the interest on the debt becomes unpayable. We have now crossed a mathematical line in the sand, a point of no return. Today, the US government spends more money on interest payments than it spends on the entire defense budget. They spend more on servicing the debt than they do on Medicare. Think about your own life. Imagine if you made $5,000 a month, but your credit card bill was $6,000 a month. You can use a second credit card to pay the first one for a while. You can pretend everything is fine. But eventually the math catches up. Eventually you crash. The United States and Europe and Japan are in that exact trap. They are borrowing money just to pay the interest on the money they already borrowed. This is called a debt spiral, and in the history of finance, no nation has ever escaped a debt spiral without destroying its currency. So, how does this end? When a government owes more than it can pay, it has only 2 choices. There is no third door. Choice number 1, the hard default. They walk out to the podium and say, "I'm sorry, we are broke. We are not paying our bonds. We are canceling Social Security. We are closing the government." This is the honest path. It is the hard reset. But it causes a chaotic depression. Banks collapse instantly. The stock market goes to zero. People riot in the streets. Politicians get thrown out of office, or worse. No politician in history chooses this path willingly. It is political suicide, which leaves choice number 2, the soft default. This is also known as inflation. Instead of telling you they won't pay, they simply print the money to pay the bills. They print the trillions needed for Social Security. They print the trillions needed for the bondholders. On paper, you get paid. You get your check. But the check is worth half as much as it used to be. They pay the debt by destroying the value of the currency denominated in that debt. This is the path they are choosing right now. It is the path of least resistance. It is the invisible tax. They will never tell you they are defaulting. They will just make your milk cost $15 a gallon. They will make the average house cost $2 million. They are trying to inflate the debt away. And the victim of that strategy is you. The victim is the saver, the person who holds cash, the person who did the responsible thing. I want to ask the community a serious question. Do you think the government will ever balance the budget again? Type yes or no in the comments. I think I know what the answer will be, but let's see. There is a fancy economic term you need to know. It explains why the rich seem to get richer during these crises, while the middle class gets crushed. It is called the Cantillon Effect. Named after an 18th century economist, Richard Cantillon, it describes a simple truth. Inflation is not uniform. When the government prints new money, it doesn't appear in everyone's pocket at the same time. It goes to the insiders first. It goes to the big banks. It goes to the government contractors. It goes to the large corporations who get the bailouts. They get the new money before prices rise. They get to buy stocks, houses, and gold at today's prices. By the time that new money trickles down to you in the form of a slightly higher wage, prices have already doubled. The insiders stole your purchasing power. The Cantillon Effect is a wealth transfer mechanism. It transfers wealth from the poor and the middle class to the political and financial elite. This is why the stock market hits all-time highs while regular people are struggling to buy eggs. The stock market is not measuring the health of the economy anymore. It is measuring how much money they printed. If you are not holding assets, If you are not holding gold, silver, real estate, or Bitcoin, you are the victim of the Cantillon Effect. You are the one paying for the party. You might be thinking, but this is America. This is the West. It can't happen here. That is what the Romans thought. In the final stages of the Roman Empire, they started clipping the edges off their silver coins. Then they started mixing base metals into the silver. They diluted their currency to pay for endless wars and a massive welfare state. The result? Runaway inflation and the collapse of the empire. That is what the Germans thought in 1921. The Weimar Republic printed marks to pay their war debts. In 1922, a loaf of bread cost 160 marks. By late 1923, a loaf of bread cost 200 billion marks. People brought wheelbarrows of cash to buy groceries. The money became trash. It happened in Zimbabwe. It happened in Venezuela. It happened in Argentina. The laws of economics do not care about American exceptionalism. Math is universal. If you print more units of something, the value of each unit goes down. We are walking the exact same path. We are just doing it with digital numbers instead of printing presses. The end game is always the same. The currency dies, and a new system is born. This sounds terrifying, and if you are unprepared, it is. But for the prepared, this is not a tragedy. It is an opportunity. This debt crisis is the reason Crucible Markets exists. This is the reason we told you to buy gold, video 1. This is the reason we told you to watch the central banks, video 2. This is the reason we analyzed Bitcoin, video 4. These assets are the lifeboats. When the ship of paper money starts to sink under the weight of debt, you do not want to be holding paper. You want to be on the lifeboat. Gold is a lifeboat that has floated for 5,000 years. Bitcoin is a new, high-speed lifeboat built for the digital age. Silver is the lifeboat for the common man. They are opt-out mechanisms. They are ways to say, I do not consent to your inflation. I do not consent to your debt. The debt is the engine. Inflation is the smoke. And the collapse of purchasing power is the destination. You cannot stop the engine. It is too big. But you can get off the train. I hope this series has opened your eyes. We have built a foundation of truth here. We stripped away the lies of the media and looked at the raw mechanics of the machine. But knowledge is potential power. Action is real power. Don't just watch these videos. Take steps. Buy your first ounce. Secure your wallet. Educate your family. We will continue to track this collapse in real time on this channel. As the crisis evolves, we will be here to translate the noise into signal. If you found value in this series, please share it with someone you care about. Share it with your dad who keeps all his money in a savings account. Share it with your friend who thinks the government will fix everything. You might just save their financial future. Thank you for watching Crucible Markets. The math doesn't lie, and neither do we. Stay prepared.